I'm Madeline.
And I'm Caroline, and you're listening to Talkitecture, the podcast where we gossip as students.
And spill the tea on all things architecture.
I did it without a script.
That was good. This is our DC site visit. We're recording this on a Sunday, and we got back 2 days ago, so it's fresh in our mind.
Exactly.
Everything that happened.
Yep.
Yes. And we were only there for 2 days, so not a lot happened, but like some stuff happened.
It's always a jam-packed 2 days.
It's not as exciting.
There's always something.
Yeah. Not as exciting as Chicago because, you know, it's not St. Patrick's Day in Chicago.
Yeah.
And but it is a Thursday in DC.
Yeah. We just took a bus. We didn't have to like take a plane and like stay there a couple of nights. A little less exciting, but
it was, yeah.
Still fun.
It was just your average like DC trip. It was super fun.
It's less exciting for us because we're from Virginia, so DC is just like,
yeah.
It's like whatever city you live near, you're like, oh, yeah, and that's the city.
Yeah. It was easy though.
Yeah, it was
which
easy.
I appreciated.
Okay.
But you know.
So Thursday was our travel day. So we got to miss 2 days of school, which was honestly amazing.
That was a game changer.
Yeah. And we had to be at the bus by 7:30. So we got on our little bikes at like 6:45 in the morning.
Because we're not paying for parking.
No. Because we would have had to have paid for parking for Thursday and Friday.
And why would we do that
and
when we can bike?
Live a 10-minute walk, a 2-minute bike ride.
Yes.
Like, no.
Yeah. So we biked there at 7 a.m., pulled up in our sweatsuits.
Yes.
Most people were dressed for the day.
Yeah.
We decided to do an outfit change.
Because everyone like wants to dress a little elevated because we're visiting firms and stuff.
Sites
and like they tell you like dress like business smart or like casual smart or something. And I'm like, okay.
Smart. Guys look smart.
Yeah.
We're wearing grout fits.
Yeah.
Like
my UVA sweatpants that I got from Kate, who I don't know where she got them from, but are so ratty. And
it's
then
so funny that those are hers.
Sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And yeah. And we look like bums and everyone else is in like business attire.
Yeah. Yeah. But it
was a 2.5 hour bus ride.
It was a 2.5 hour bus
sitting
ride.
In jeans for that.
And we had like half an hour of traffic.
Yeah.
So it ended up being like closer to 3 hours.
It was literally, your time is so warped. It was only 2.5 hours.
We got there exactly it was longer. Okay. For some reason, we were in like a stop and stand still traffic. And to me, it was like I was like, are you kidding me?
No. It was
but
like
I guess it was only
10 to 20 minutes of stop traffic. We left at 8 a.m. We got there at 10 a.m., which means that we were actually 30 minutes ahead of schedule.
True. But a few people said, like, I wish I had worn sweatpants like you guys. So
did they?
One person said
that.
So we get there, and we were kind of planning to, like, go to the room, change.
I kind of forgot that
a little bit.
We were staying at, like, it's like a hotel/hostel. Like, you can rent out a bed in a bunk room. Yeah. But I kind of forgot that we were getting there at 10 a.m. and our rooms wouldn't be ready. So we just changed in the bathroom really quick. Yeah. Ran to the hotel.
Really quick change in the bathroom. And then immediately began our walking tour. And then our day began.
Yes.
At like 11 a.m. So our site is along Connecticut Avenue, and it's in two neighborhoods, Woodley Park and Cleveland Park. I think we've talked about this like last week maybe. But both of our sites, our groups are in Woodley Park. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of nice because we can share like info and stuff, and we really only have to pay attention to one. Yeah. I mean, the other one is relevant, but not like...
It's not your focus.
No. Yeah, and I took notes on like a few buildings that we passed by really quickly. So, Connecticut Avenue is really nice. There are a lot of nice buildings, like big buildings, big developments, nice stuff.
It's like,
I guess,
a bougie area the further up you go. And we were staying in Kalorama, which is like the bougiest neighborhood in DC. Because it's like where all the presidents, when they're like not president anymore or like vice president anymore, that's like where they rent out houses. Yeah. And if you just cross this bridge, then you get to Woodley Park and Cleveland Park. So it's very close to
so close.
affluent
so
area.
Close. So one of the buildings along Connecticut Avenue was 2101 Connecticut Avenue.
Beautiful.
I don't know if this is like interesting to go through the buildings that we saw or just give a broad summary.
Yeah. I don't even remember 2101 Connecticut Avenue.
It was the one that it looked like Hogwarts. It had a lot of roof gardens. Me, you, and Jeff, we were like, wow.
I don't know.
I guess
I
not
saw
that
so many
memorable.
buildings.
Okay.
I think, yeah. So we are being guided around by these two architects that are but they work in DC, and one of them lived in Woodley and one of them lived in Cleveland. And they're kind of like giving us this like walking tour of the buildings and the history. And then we get to the bridge to go across to Woodley Park, and the woman mentions that this bridge is like the one that people jump off the most.
Out of all the bridges in DC, this is the one.
And like
it was a little bit of like, we were like, okay,
that's unsettling.
Thank you for sharing. Let's cross this bridge.
Yep, let's cross this ginormous bridge because it spans across Rock Creek, which is just like a huge ravine with a river below, but also there's a highway down there. It's like a whole thing. Yeah, it's a huge bridge, and we're crossing, and we come across a crime scene.
Well, we see like a few cops, and we're like,
confusing.
What's going on? I was kind of like, they always have cops posted here, just to like survey. But then we see some crime scene tape. As we're passing by, homicide fleeces are being worn by these people. Yeah,
DC homicide police, and we're like, okay,
good,
great.
This is great. So we literally pass by a crime scene, and
then she's kind of talking about how there's a bridge that connects Woodley Park to another neighborhood across Rock Creek. And that bridge in the 80s, also big suicide hotspot. So they put like this stuff up to prevent people
like
from
really
jumping.
Tall railings and stuff.
Yeah. And she's kind of talking about how people want to do that for this bridge, Taft Bridge. And it's just in the works because they don't want to ruin the historical character of the bridge, which just really pissed me off. Because
I was just like, stupid.
That's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, fuck this bridge. If people are jumping off of it, put something up. Like, I don't care.
I don't care what it looks like.
She was talking about how the other bridge, the method they used couldn't work on this bridge. But then we went to that bridge, and I was like, what do you mean? This bridge looks completely normal.
I know.
Like, I feel safer walking across it because the railing is like high up, and like I'm afraid of heights, so that just made me feel safer anyway. But like I was like, this is like not even a issue. Like why are people whining about that? It's stupid.
Yeah, stupid. Dumb. I don't know. Maybe that's something we can work into our designs if we're allowed to.
Yeah. That's just a dumb architect thing to say.
Well, it was also just like a great way to start our day. Because like that was like right as we were entering Woodley Park.
Yeah.
So we get to Woodley Park, and our two little guides are telling us about the site. It's a really interesting site. There's like a lot of murals. There's this big Marilyn Monroe mural, which is really cool because like right as you cross the bridge, you see the mural of her. And one of the guides was saying like, people have wanted to build on top of the building in front of it because it's only a one-story building, and they're like, this is perfect to build on top of. But if you build on top of it, you want to be able to see the mural. So they're like, it would be a great site, but also that's kind of like, you have to preserve the neighborhood.
They told us our site before we went, and our site is like the neighborhood, but they haven't told us literally where our building can go. So the guides along the way are like pointing out to us areas that would be like a good spot for a residential building.
Yes.
And it was above a Chipotle. There's like the Marilyn Monroe thing, and he was like saying that if you wanted that to be your site, you would have to probably like work around the mural because people love it so much.
Shout out Jeff. It was his first Chipotle he's ever been to. So most of the buildings,
should build above it.
He should somehow like preserve that Marilyn Monroe mural. Most of the sites are 2 to 3 story buildings. They said it's not really thriving, those commercial buildings. There's a lot of turnover. Like,
it's like you walk across the bridge and immediately it's like a little commercial strip, but Connecticut Avenue is like 6 lanes of traffic, so it's kind of bad for pedestrians. Like, it's not like cozy. Yeah. And then it's like a rundown commercial area with a metro stop. Like, it doesn't look inviting. Like, there's 1 or 2 shops that look interesting, but it's like you wouldn't seek this place out.
No, like, there's no West Elm, Free People, like Glossier on this strip. It's like
okay, well, it can't be Georgetown, but
I want every place to be Georgetown. So yeah, I guess that's interesting for the site because it's a really nice neighborhood, and you would kind of expect that they would have like the best of the best stores, like Georgetown-esque, but they don't. It's like,
no, because the thing about the affluent people that live there is like, this is their like break from the city. So it feels like a suburb, and it just feels like, because like nothing about it is run down. It's just this commercial strip that is like, the houses there are beautiful multi-million-dollar homes, like brownstones. It's just like the people that are rich that live there, like, they're gonna hop in their Tesla and drive to Georgetown and pay $30 for parking if they want to shop. They're not gonna go like right next door. They want
well, that's also the thing about the site, is that there's 1 metro stop and a few bus stops, but the transportation I wouldn't say is like ideal in the neighborhood. So, but like they were saying, it's not there. The worst. It's there, and it's not the worst thing because you're walking distance to downtown and close to Georgetown.
Yeah, you're walking distance, which is like in like,
I mean, it's like a half-hour walk, kind of in the highway, but you can get there if you really want to. Yes. What else? Oh, okay. The guy said people who live here want to go back to the old way, but young people are open to growth. So like, the people who've lived here for forever, they're kind of like, oh, it's perfect. Like, we don't want change, but also, obviously, some people are like, it would be great if it changed.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
It is such a special part of DC because the vibe is so different. And like, I loved learning about the history from the guides, because they were talking about how Woodley Park was like the vacation destination for the rest of DC in like the 1800s, because the like original plan for DC stopped like at downtown. Like, Woodley Park and Rock Creek weren't really a part of the original plan. So it was like considered the suburbs back then, and like people had vacation houses there. So I think it was like really interesting to learn that, because like you can still see how it's like, it is different from the rest of the city. But then we learned, because I was thinking like, who are we designing for? Like, who should be coming to this neighborhood other than people that would fill affordable units? But like, they were mentioning like bringing families in, but then someone mentioned that the schools in this district are all overcrowded, and I was like, this area probably doesn't need more families. It's actually like full of families. Like, what if it had like more young people and more of a mixture of different people?
I can see why they would want more families, because it's like a safe neighborhood. It's great for families, but like the school, for me, my solution would be make the schools better, because I was looking at, I have like a data set of the schools, and there are 2 schools, and they're both elementary and a preschool. Like, there's no middle school or high school nearby at all. You have to commute. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's a weird neighborhood to me.
It's just so isolated.
It is.
It's hard to like bridge what exactly it needs to pull it into the rest, but also maintain its character as like a very special area that is like, it is lovely to walk around. Yeah. Like, of all the DC neighborhoods, it's like going to the zoo there is so nice.
The zoo is smack in the middle. Yeah. That's I like that the zoo is there. It's like the tourist attraction of it, I guess. Yeah. Another buildings that's there are the Cathedral Mansions, which is like,
that was my favorite one.
It's basically like a little neighborhood. I loved that.
I liked hearing about like the programs that they used to have built into the building, where they had like a monitored playground and a shuttle to take you to grocery stores.
Yes.
Because this was built in the 20s, so Woodley Park was still like harder to access than it is today
on
like the vacation days. So that was really interesting to hear about like what amenities were in buildings.
Yes. And right next to that was the Kennedy Warren building, which was this huge like condo complex, I guess, but it's very Art Deco and really just like glamorous looking, and has all these little motifs referencing the zoo, animals and stuff.
Yeah,
I liked
it. Was
a lot.
really nice. It was massive. It felt like it took up like 3 blocks.
Massive. And apparently pets are allowed, but they're not allowed to walk in the hallway. So you have to have like little wagons, I guess.
They park like wagons in the lobby for you to take your dog and put it in the wagon, take it up to your unit.
Yes. So that's kind of the end of our walk for Woodley Park. Yeah. Then we go to Cleveland Park.
You have to cross another bridge across Rock Creek, and then you're in Cleveland Park. And it's like a little bit different of a vibe. I feel like Cleveland Park has seen a little bit more development in like recent years.
Especially in the sidewalk.
The sidewalk and the library were like the biggest things to me.
The library was really nice. Yeah. And they made the sidewalks super wide. Yeah. So the walking amenities are great. Yeah. Yeah. It was great. When we got to Cleveland Park, that's when we started to get a little hungry. And the tour was seeming like it wasn't ending anytime soon. No. So we may have dipped and got food. Our
tour guides then started to argue with each other. Yeah. So
they argued like an old married couple. Like it was a battle of who knows more about Cleveland Park. It was really funny, but also awkward.
Yeah. So we were like,
we were just like standing there like, oh, okay.
I was researching like grocery store and food insecurity in DC for this phase of the project. So in Cleveland Park, there's 3 grocery stores, and in Woodley there's none. So we went to go check out those grocery stores while they argued. Yeah, and they were great little grocery stores. Like I wish they existed here because they were like the perfect size that they weren't overwhelming.
Yeah. That's where we got some food from those. And then after our tour, we went to the zoo. Yep. We got tickets to the zoo. The zoo was, a classic zoo experience. Most of the animals were like not even there. Yeah. But it was fun because I like the landscaping of a zoo, so it's just fun to walk around in like a park.
It's a good design. Yeah. And the zoo is like the National Zoo is under a lot of renovations in the recent years. I feel like it's underwhelming right now. Yeah. But it's going to have a glow up slowly.
Slow glow up.
One of the firms that we visited the next day for our firm visit, they work on the zoo sometimes, and it's pretty cool.
I think after we went to the zoo, we had a break or something. Oh yeah, we had a break. We walked around Woodley Park, took pictures, and then we took the train to a firm visit, our first firm visit of the trip. And I don't actually even remember what firm it was.
Tortigalis.
Okay,
Gallus.
Yep. Its building is in an old like boys and girls school. Yeah. It was a nice building. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it was
firm, I guess.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, the building was cool. They kind of only talked about the building. It seemed like
they did. It was hard to gauge.
Seemed like the building was like their greatest achievement, and
it was great. It was nice.
It was a great building.
It has a cozy feel.
An adaptive reuse project, like that was it.
They literally they gave us a tour of the building, and I was expecting them to give us like maybe a little presentation of a project they're working on, or just like something about them, and they didn't.
Only wanted to talk about this building because their offices had been in Silver Spring, Maryland, and then they moved into the city, in like the Shaw U neighborhood or something, and that's all they wanted to talk about. Like people were like trying to ask questions and they were not answering them. They were just like talking about the building. Like, okay.
It was so strange.
But I mean, the office space was great.
Like, it was great.
It was like,
nice. They had lots of plants, a nice kitchen, cute desks. The one thing I did gain from them was they focus on addition, not displacement. That's the only bullet point I got for you guys.
They called it addition.
Adification.
Just like,
it's like, sure. Yes.
Yeah.
We all want attification?
We all want attification, but like
we do not want displacement.
How do we? Yeah. I mean, that was like kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But it was like hard to like have a discussion about that without talking about any of the actual projects that they did that did attification.
Yeah.
So
it was, we were also only there for like maybe an hour tops.
But they did give us LaCroix.
They gave us LaCroix and candy, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
Then we went to Bonstra Harasign after that, but we did a walk there first. And the walk,
there's always some roundabout weird walk.
The walk there was my like favorite and least favorite part of the trip, because they wanted us to walk to Bonstra Harasign and pass by like these two buildings, I guess, that we were like supposed to take stuff away from them, but I think
they didn't even like
the professor who decided to do that vanished.
Yeah.
So the three other ones were just like walking around, like showing us like these buildings. The first building was this like condo thing, and it was just like basically a glass box, but they had these copper or metal like trusses on the outside, steel trusses.
Yeah. Which was just exposed steel truss on the outside, but just completely glass, like that old studio glass. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And they wanted us to like take something away from the steel element of it. That's what.
But they didn't even like the building.
Well,
like they all hated it. So
I was walking with Jeff at this point, and we kind of like asked them. Jeff asked them. They were like, he was like, why are we here? Basically, and they were like, and they just like were so awkward and like didn't answer. And then we were starting to ask questions about the building, like, are these trusses structural, purely decorative? And they were like, no, they're not structural at all. And I was like, oh, you guys hate this. Why are we here?
And also, like, valid question. This whole building is like massive steel trusses.
And it was also apparently redone in the recent like 10 years.
It's a historic building, so like let it be. I don't know why they were hating on it so much, other than like environmentally this thing probably just gets so hot. But I don't know. They were being haters. I kind of
get why they were hating on it. I kind of hated it because I wish I remembered what it was called, but when we looked up pictures of what it looked like before, it was like curvy and like had this really cool.
Oh, I didn't see the before pictures.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then they were like, I think their goal was to show us like a successful way to renovate like a historical building, but they took away all the historical qualities of it, and that's why I think they hated it.
Ew. Okay. Yeah. Well, then if that's true, then yes.
Yes. Yeah, so one of the professors, my professor, is missing. Don't know where she is.
She disappeared.
Caroline is like far behind me on this walk. We get separated.
I'm walking alone. I'm walking alone, and everyone's looking at. There's like this big like triangle. I don't know how to describe it. This concrete like. What is it called? It's like a triangle.
It's like those little
half
pole things.
No. Oh, there's this building that's like it's like this, like a triangle, and it's like holding up the rest of this building. Oh. It's like this. We're walking underneath this like really crazy structural support.
Yes.
That is like holding up this building.
I don't remember what it was called, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just some apartment building, but it has this like crazy truss system on the bottom of it that just like looks like impossible. And we're all walking through it, and every single person's like eyes are looking up at it, and I'm looking up at it, but I'm walking alone in between two groups of people. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like I was looking at the people in front of me, and then they started looking up, so I looked up, and then they I guess saw this pole in the road, like one of those pedestrian poles so cars don't drive on a sidewalk. And I didn't, because they were fucking looking up. Like, what were you looking at? And then I ran into it so hard, full speed, because I wasn't looking at all. I fell over it practically. And
I can't believe I missed it.
Terrible.
She has like a big bruise.
Yeah.
It started off as like a goose egg.
Yeah, you were like, no, that's not that bad. And I was like, no, like I feel like I can't move my leg.
Yeah, that's
like
bad.
I was like, I can't stress enough how full speed I went into this thing.
And
like,
she's there was still recovering.
Like hesitation. Like I wasn't like I didn't know it was there until I hit it.
Ugh.
And then it was embarrassing, and then I had to keep walking, and it was just terrible. basically, okay, well, it was so embarrassing because I didn't know the people in front of me that well. They were the new people. And they all look back like horrified at me. And I'm like, this is terrible. Like, this is so embarrassing.
Falling in public is just never fun.
Yeah. And then it's just like people that you kind of know, but you don't really know that well.
Yeah.
So like they can't really say anything. And you're just got to keep walking it off. And you're like limping. Like,
you're saying this like it's just such a relatable experience. It's like, you know, and then when they see
happen.
you and you're limping and you're like, you're surrounded by people you don't really know.
Yeah.
Every time Caroline falls, I'm never there. I'm never there. And I want to be there so bad to witness just one of these falling occurrences.
I feel like I'm just such an embarrassing person. Like, I'm always getting myself into like the most mortifying situations. Like, I fell one time in a Harris teeter. Like, I walked into a Harris teeter and I slipped and fell straight on my ass like a cartoon in the entryway to a Harris teeter, all
like
by
right
myself. All by myself.
I was literally parked in the car outside because she was just gonna run in and grab something, and then you came out and you're like, I just slipped and fell in front of everyone, and of course I wasn't even there to see.
It's terrible.
Ugh. Anyways, so at some point during the day, we smell bad. We just smell bad.
All been smelling bad for
because
hours.
we're wearing the same outfit since 7 a.m. most of us.
Yeah.
Caroline and I changed, so
yeah.
10 a.m. for us. And walking all day, and it's 80 degrees. And I just have to give a shout out to Brooke. She's in our cohort. She had this like sample of perfume called Nest Indigo, and she let us use it, and it was like the most divine, perfect scent I've ever smelled, and I'm like literally gonna buy it. It smelled really good.
It was really good.
It smelled really good. It's not really relevant, but anyways, moving right along. Our second stop on the walk was, what was our second stop? I don't remember.
It was this really cool like concrete building that was broken up into like four modern interpretations of like brownstones, and then like apartments on top and in the back, and it was cool. They of course architected it and like said all these like crazy words about it.
Because from the front, I guess it looks like 4 different units, but from the back it just looks like one uniform unit. I guess the way the windows are laid out, it's really cool. I liked it a lot, but they said they're like, contextualization is not mimicking the surrounding areas, and I was like, all right guys, let's move on. Okay. Let's move right along. And then we get to Bonstra Hair Sign, the last stop of the day. And this was one of the strangest experiences of my entire life being here, truly. It was really odd.
So dramatic.
No, it was so weird. I was losing my mind. Like, I thought everything was so funny. Because we got there, and they were giving us, like, 3 firms were presenting, like, quick little spiels about their firm, I guess.
Yeah.
And we being our cohort was in this glass conference room looking at a screen, but the speaker was in another room, so they had like microphones set up so we could hear them
because there were too many of us.
Yeah, so we saw the screen and we could hear it, but there was no speaker there, and we were all just in like this glass room alone, and it was just like hilarious because no one knew what to look at, and everyone started laying on the floor
looking at the slide deck. Like, just, there was nothing,
so
like no
weird.
one, like someone was talking. It was just like a weird Zoom.
Yes.
But like they're right there.
But they gave us free alcohol, so.
Yeah, and pizza and stuff. Yeah. And
so it wasn't all bad.
Yeah, no.
I forgot about this. During the lunch. In the beginning of this presentation, around the middle, I guess, it was still quiet at this point. We haven't started giggling and messing around. Caroline is literally like still, and just a noise comes out of her, and it's like, it sounded like a frog.
I actually can't talk about this day
and
anymore,
everyone like turned around
so
and looked
mortifying. Like what? I don't know what. Like
so
this is now everyone's impression
died.
of me is like I ran into a pole. I burped during the fucking Zoom.
It wasn't even a burp.
I don't even know what it was. I didn't do anything to deserve any of this. Like why? I don't know.
It was so funny. I wish I had like recorded that noise. Anyways. So you make that weird noise.
Yeah.
And then we go
everyone
home.
looks.
Everyone looks.
Like, mind your fucking business. I'm sorry. Watch the presentation right now, okay?
She's deflecting.
No,
it was hilarious.
No, I've already fallen over, and you guys have already seen that. So, like, please mind your business at this point. You've already seen.
It was so funny. After that, we all walk home in the dark. And we get to our like hostel hotel situation, and the whole block is marked off with crime tape, basically, like the same tape they use at a crime scene.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, second crime scene of the day. Awesome.
Right, yeah.
Okay. But.
And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I really tried to tell my professor that DC has a crime problem, and he basically said that's cute.
Yeah, that's cute.
And now we're at our second crime scene of the day. I'm thinking, and I'm like, yeah, so told you.
Yeah.
But it turns out that it's the Secret Service.
And it was just Trump.
It was just Trump at the hotel next to us, giving us a little speech.
He was giving a speech like literally 100 feet away. It was kind of crazy.
At the same hotel that Ronald Reagan almost was assassinated at.
Yes.
So
the Hilton.
Poetic.
That very Hilton.
Yeah.
We go up to our rooms. Our rooms are nice. It's like a bunk bed situation, 4 people to a room.
But they're much better than the rooms in Chicago because the room is big. Like
it's
the
big.
beds are the same size and everything, and still bunk beds, but like
we can all stand up.
Tiny rooms in Chicago, and we couldn't all stand at like the same time.
It was crazy. These rooms were really nice, and we had a nice view. Great bathroom. It was a great situation. And then a few people wanted to go out, but I was like so exhausted, so we just showered, put on our sweat outfit from the morning.
Was actually so gross.
No, it was great.
The sweat outfit at that point though was like, I've sweated in this on the bus.
True.
Now I'm like,
true. Yeah, no, I mean it wasn't like the best. But we were just like chilling in the hotel bar wearing that while everyone else is wearing going out clothes, and they all go out. Yeah. And we go to bed.
Yep. And then we wake up and we get
that
breakfast. Okay, so then the next day we wake up, and with our roommate we go to a breakfast spot, get breakfast, pretty uneventful, run into some people that went out the night before.
Yes.
They're looking great. they're doing good. And then we go back to the hotel and we do a short walk to the White House, which if you know anything about DC and you know that we're up in Kalorama and we're going to the White House, is not a short walk.
No, it was a long walk.
It was like 40 minutes.
It was a really nice walk though, because the weather at that point was cool.
It was the morning. It was like 8 a.m. So it was like a good time to do that walk. Thankfully.
And we weren't up late the night before.
Yeah.
So I was
we were
chilling.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're walking there. It's good.
We first see the grayish blue house next to the White House. IDK what it's called.
It's the vice president's offices.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw the White House. And at the White House, we decided to interview a few of our friends.
Yes.
Should I play them?
Yes.
No? Yes. Okay.
Please hold.
Just a second. Oh my gosh, all the voice memos are labeled the White House 2, the White House. That's funny. Okay. Live coming from the White House. What are your initial thoughts, Caroline?
I would just really love to know what paint color they use, because I would like to buy it. I think they could sell it as like a signature item, you know? That's my only concern.
We thought eggshell white, pure white,
Greek villa, but I'm thinking they have their own. They have their own custom.
White House white.
Yeah.
White House white. I've never seen the White House up close. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I haven't seen it this close either.
Yay! We saw the press tents.
Yeah.
Bye. Jeffrey Dillenbeck, we're at the White House. Give me your impressions. Caught him off guard.
Yeah.
He's tired.
That's why we're here. Like, I'm not like, that's my biggest thing. It's like, we're not talking about it. We're just kind of like standing around.
We are just standing in front of the White House.
And those are
Pro White House, but it's nice. Yeah, a little like Federalist style, like columns. Who doesn't love like some white on white columns? Like, it's a vibe, but it's Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And those are your thoughts.
Design it today, but I'm curious.
And why not?
Professors think. Why not? Yeah, no comment there.
And there you go, folks. Julia? Would you like to be about this? Step aside. Come here. How's it going, you guys? We'd like to ask you about the White House. What are your impressions? What do you think?
It's big. It's white.
It's a house.
There's a lot
do
of...
you have...
Yeah.
What color do you think it's painted? Paint color.
Probably like ivory. Maybe an eggshell.
Okay.
Probably satin finish.
There you go. Satin finish. We were thinking that it had its own color. White House white. And Jeff said something about you name dropping. What's the deal with this?
No, we name dropped
Julia. And we name drop you.
I'm name dropped a lot in Talkitecture.
As a listener, you're the one who we've heard your name the most.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, I'm saying it here. I'm coming on as a guest.
You heard it here first. Can't wait. Say something inappropriate. It's okay. We can edit. Okay. Hello, guys. Reporting live from the White House again with Maya. We just like to ask you about your impressions. What do you think?
I think that the landscaping is beautiful. The building itself is slightly underwhelming, especially compared to the surrounding buildings. I think that the lackluster commitment to neoclassicism is a little disappointing, and pictures do it better.
Wow. That's the hottest take of the day. Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you, Maya.
Those are the future architects of
America.
Of America. There you go. Unfortunately, to Jeff and Julia, Maya gave us just like an outstanding interview.
Yeah, that was just, it did top it. And like I didn't even process what she said until re-listening to it, and I was like, oh yeah, she killed it.
Yeah. Jeff, Julia, we'll get you guys again another time.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys at a better time maybe, and you can give us some more. But
the White House was fun. I've never seen the White House that close, so it was cool. Yeah.
And then we start walking again towards the National Mall, and we get up on the Washington Monument. We don't go in. We don't go in though. No, we just walk by. So this part of the walking tour, this whole walking tour is just kind of hilarious because not once do any of the professors stop to explain anything.
So true.
Nothing. The whole time we're just walking by all of these incredibly famous buildings, and the whole time it's like, yep.
They're probably like, they speak for themselves. Well, at the White House, it was especially funny because they like propped us out there for like 20 minutes. We're like, what are we doing here? They didn't say a thing.
Yep.
Kind of like, I get it though. If I were them, I would be
well, the only thing that your professor had to say was she went around to everyone in her group and said, this is where Connecticut Avenue starts. And I was like, okay. Nothing else important about this area? No, we can't think of anything.
No. This is where Connecticut Avenue starts. Yeah. That's the only significance. Then we go to the National Building Museum, which TBH is not my favorite of the museums.
Probably one of the ugliest interiors I've seen in a while.
Yes.
And
really
we were holding out hope that it was because it was historic.
Mm-hmm.
But then we learned that the renovation to the inside and the color palette was chosen last year.
Really
which
disappointing,
is
guys.
Terrifying thought for the future of design.
It was like the carpets were like gold. The color scheme they chose was a gold, maroon, gray situation, and red. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. Someone at one point said it's giving Cheesecake Factory.
It was giving Cheesecake Factory.
Yes.
It's literally the Cheesecake Factory.
It
but
actually
like 10
is.
times bigger. And it's such a shame because like the building is cool.
It's
like
huge.
it's massive.
It's huge.
Like actually pretty cool, but the colors are just like making it look like a fun house.
And they do like it. you walk in, it's like this giant big room. It's like basically hollow on the inside, super tall, and they do a bunch of cool exhibits there. I remember when I was a kid, I went to like, they had a giant ball pit set up throughout the whole floor with like slides and everything. It was super cool. And I think for stuff like that, it's perfect, but seeing it empty and like, especially with this renovation paint colors, it was like bad. Really bad. Would not recommend, unfortunately.
And then we all head to our studio visits. So our group gets split in two. You can pick which firm you want to go to, Quinn Evans or Shalom Barnes firm. Or Barnes? Barnes firm. So I chose Quinn Evans because they do a lot of historical work in DC, and they're working on a building that my mom works at, and they just do like really cool projects in DC that are super high profile. And our friend interned there. So I just wanted to check it out, see the office.
And
I'd heard a lot about it. I thought it was like a really like classic firm.
Yeah.
And like they started in the Midwest in Michigan. I don't know if it's Ann Arbor, but somewhere in Michigan is where their original office was. And I feel like the vibe of the people is very Midwestern. Just like very like friendly and like just like calm people. Like it's not like nothing like the other firms we saw in Chicago. Just like it was just like quaint office.
That's cute.
But like modern. Their office was just like, I don't know. It was in the downtown like financial area of DC. And it was just like a very typical modern office space that was really nice kitchen, lots of light, nice desks and everything. But it just kind of felt like homey. Like no one was as unique as like at Studio Gang. Everyone was kind of like their own like edgy cool vibe. Like it wasn't like that, but it wasn't like what was the other firm?
I can never remember. Will
Perkins and Will. Okay, it wasn't like Perkins and Will where it was every single person was in all black and had no personality,
and the whole office was white.
It was somewhere in between, which made me feel
That's
like
nice.
Calm and like a good place, like a good place to work.
What did they?
And it's employee owned, which is really cool.
Oh.
So once you become an associate there, you are eligible to buy shares of the company.
That's interesting. That's cool.
I don't know, just like a nice place, good people.
What was the like lunch like? Because we had lunch at these firms. Did you like eat with the people?
So the CEO was there, and she came around to every table and like introduced herself and said hi, and she was nice. And then we got tours from each like kind of team member that was there, and we actually talked to a recent UVA grad who also just started working there like 3 months ago or something.
Do you recognize them?
No, she graduated last year from the MArC, but
so before we got
she did Barcelona. So she would have been away for half of the year, but she was really sweet, and like what she said about the firm was really positive. And she was like, all my friends that are in architecture that work in DC, like they're working at firms and like they have crazy hours that are like unacceptable. And she's like, here it's like very much just a typical job. Like I work 9 to 5. That's and good. If you do work overtime, you bill it. And like, I don't know. It was just like, it felt nice because I feel like all the firms we've been to are like, there's a trade-off. Like there's like Studio Gang where the projects are fascinating and really cool and really creative, but it seems like they work overtime all the time. And then Perkins and Will, it's like bland and like a little too like sterile. But like Quinn Evans was like the perfect in between of like, you can predict like you're gonna have like fun projects, you're gonna have some not so fun projects, but you're gonna have like a stable like good time.
Seemed like you
just
liked
felt
them
refreshing.
Yeah.
Well, it was just nice because I feel like all the firms I've but like been to, they have some sort of extreme, and there was no extreme.
Okay, that's good.
So it was like
that's nice.
Finally a normal like office place.
Yeah. Wow. Would you work there, do you think?
I would say like it's not my top choice because I don't want to be in DC and they don't have a New York office. But if I ever moved back to DC, then I would, because they work with the Smithsonian a lot, and
super cool.
That's like really cool.
Yeah. I went to Shalom Barnes. Yeah. For some reason, the name, like, I can't get it right. It's spelled weird. Maybe not. I went there. Initial thoughts. Their office is in Georgetown. And, like, if I haven't said it enough before, Georgetown is, like, my favorite place ever. So being there was so cool. And their office is at the top floor of, like, a really cool building that faces the river. So, like, when we were inside, there were windows all around, and I was just, like, looking at the water the whole time. It was so nice. But their office is really small. It only has one location, and it's the one in Georgetown, and there's 54 people. And they said for bigger projects, only 15 people work on it. And for small ones, it's like 6 people work on it. So, like, something about those numbers, like, it just felt, like, cozy. And their office itself wasn't, like, the other offices we visited, like, they really try to wow you with their actual office, I feel like. And this one, the building, the room itself wasn't great. It reminded me of the sitcom The Office. Like, just, like, kind of rough around the edges, but, like, practical. Yeah. You know, it had the stuff. Like, the desks were not crazy. It was just, like, normal stuff. Which was really comforting because I liked it a lot, which means that the firm spoke for itself, and, like, it didn't need to impress me with, like, some extravagant office, whatever. And when we got there, they, like, sat us at different tables, and 2 people at the firm sat at every single table. So, like, we talked with them for, like, half an hour, and it was cool. I got sat at a table with, like, one of the higher guys in the company, and he was just, like, I don't know. Obviously, he's super smart because he made it that far. But it was just, like, he was such a normal guy with, like, a cool sense of humor. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, you guys are so cool. And they were all really nice. What else? They talked about their projects. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so when there was one guy who spoke first about one of their projects they're working on. And then the guy who sat at my table talked second about, like, his project that he's working on. And the first guy was, like, talking really slow, and then I noticed, but, like, he was interesting, but it was just, like, slow. And then I saw the guy sitting at my table texting, like, the girl who, like, she must be, like, in charge or something, because she's the one who introduced us. She was like, hi, welcome, blah, blah, blah. He was texting her, like, oh my gosh, does he know how slow he's talking right now? And he kept saying stuff like, get him a mouse. He does not know how to zoom in on this touch. It was really funny because it reminded me of when we text each other during, like,
that's funny,
like, meetings and stuff. And it was just like, they're just like us. It was really, really funny. Their projects are so cool. I really like their, like, style and stuff. Yeah. What else? One of their projects, I think if it's not on Connecticut Avenue, it's close to Connecticut Avenue, and it's, like, huge. And actually, I asked a question.
No.
God. I never ask questions. I was really into this firm. I wish that they had another location, like in New York or somewhere that I would want to be, like, afterwards, because I really like them. But I think that's part of the charm, is that there's only 54 of them, and they're in Georgetown. Yeah. Which, you know, cute. And that was it.
I feel like these firms gave us, like, hope. Like, I was feeling a lot of despair about architecture firms from Chicago and, like, my own experience. And, like, after hearing about these 2 firms, I'm like, okay, normal places exist.
They
where, like,
really
you don't
felt
have to
so
kill yourself.
normal.
Yeah.
It was like a classic 9-to-5 job. You show up, you do your work, and then you leave.
Yeah, that's what I want. Like, I'm not trying to, like,
I don't
work
need to do it
crazy
all.
hours to, like, achieve this, like, thing that I want to, like, have a life.
It was nice. Yeah. And the people at the firm, like, looked like they were either friends or they had a very respectful work relationship with each other. And I was like, this is, like, so refreshing in a way.
Yeah, that's what it was like at Quinn Evans too. Because, like, one of the other firms we visited, some of the people were, like, cliquey, it felt like, and, like, close, but maybe in a trauma bonded way. Yeah. But, like, I feel like these 2 firms, it was, like, just, like, a normal workplace.
Normal.
Thank God.
Like, and they all, like, commute to work and they go home to their families.
Yeah. I feel like that's, like, why DC is such a good city, is, like, it's just, like, normal. Like, it's not the extreme of New York. It's
Yeah.
like super lush and green, and like
Yes.
it's not as like crowded and dirty as New York. It's like it's that like
It's just
lukewarm.
nice. It's
just
kind of perfect.
Yeah, it's a good city.
I wish that I feel like if we didn't like live in Virginia, we would
I know.
consider work, and I still do consider working in DC
Yeah.
sometimes. But it's also like
I've just lived there my
sometimes
whole
it's-
life.
I know.
I have
I
to
kinda
live
wanna
somewhere
get
else.
away for a little
To
bit.
try other cities, because there's other cities I love, but DC is just a great like place.
it's
I feel
really
like.
nice. And then after that, we had a 5-hour-long break where we were supposed to visit the site, and I met my sister Nicole, and Caroline went with her mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And we went shopping in Georgetown.
yes.
It was so
It
fun.
was great.
It was,
It was
a
a great 5-hour break.
Great.
I felt
5-hour
so
break.
brain dead after that trip, and like, yeah, I needed.
Well, then we got on our bus at like 8 or something like that, and the ride home just felt so long because I couldn't sleep, and I didn't want to fall asleep because I wanted to go to sleep when I got home, but I was just feeling like the grossest I've ever felt.
Same. I developed a stuffy nose for only those 2.5 hours. Like the second
Yeah.
I stepped foot on
Yeah,
that bus, I had no
know.
tissue and my nose was stuffed. And then the second I stepped off, it was gone.
Yes.
I was like, oh, great.
It
And then our
was
bus driver
stupid.
took the wrong turn because he.
Oh,
I'm actually so mad
no,
about it.
this is funny
He
because he
drove-
took the wrong turn and Caroline started freaking out, and I was like, I'm gonna turn off my brain right now.
I was just freaking out because I was so mad because I was like, you fucker, get us home, get us there, because he literally took the wrong turn like 3 blocks. Like we were 3 minutes from the school.
It was bad.
We're so close, and I was like, I just need to get to my tissue box. And then he takes a stupid ass wrong turn, and we get on this little mini highway here in Charlottesville, and he gets off and he's like, hey, I don't have the address. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You've been driving for 2.5 hours and you didn't have the address?
Caroline was freaking out.
I wasn't
so
freaking
mad.
out. I was just mad. I was
Yeah, I
like,
know.
why are you being such an idiot? Like, you don't ask for the address before you leave. Like, okay. I don't know. It was just annoying.
It was
Anyway.
annoying. But anyways, we made it back, and Caroline texted me. She's like, we have to bike home now.
Yeah.
Which it was fine. It was hilarious though because we got back at like 10 p.m. and our bike ride home was just like biking amongst
Yeah.
the crowds of people walking
we
to frats.
have our free people like crossbody bags
You
stuffed to the
stuffed.
brim, and it's like making me like an awkward biker because it's like off, like
Yeah, you're off balance.
and we're just biking home in sweatsuits, and that while everyone in UVA is going to the frats in their cowboy boots with bottles of wine,
Yeah.
and we're just biking.
And we're
home.
looking rife. We're looking rife. We're
Rife.
looking rough.
Yeah.
Um,
And this car won't get around me, and I'm like, just get around
This car
me,
is
and then I'm
following
struggling up
us.
this hill, and I'm like, okay, you have to just leave. Like, this is so
we gotta
embarrassing.
go. Yeah. But we made it home safe and sound. Yesterday I woke up feeling like sick. Today I still feel kind of sick. But you know, that's the price you pay when you go on a site visit.
C'est la vie.
Yep, c'est la vie.
Overall, a good time.
I'm
A short
kind of-
time, but a good time.
We have a pin-up apparently on Tuesday.
Yeah. It's in the assignment sheet if you scroll down to the 5th page, past all the
Yes.
paragraphs.
Yes, it's stupid. It's like hidden. You know, it'll be great as they always do.
Yeah.
Are.
You know what those pages could use? Some color. Some color would just
Or how
highlight
about
the
just,
due
like-
dates, maybe. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that would be good.
That would be good. Or just like take away everything that's not a
Yeah.
bullet point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bullet points
Whatever.
only.
Bullet points only. And that was our DC site visit. Fun.
Yes.
Very fun. Very fun. Okay, well, we still have our advice poll up on our Instagram.
Guys, please help
write
us out.
in.
Please
Help
don't
us out
embarrass
so we don't
us
have
like
to go
this.
to Reddit and
Yes.
find advice. We want to talk about, like, it doesn't even have to be advice, just like a funny situation. Like, how did
write
your last
anything.
desk crit go?
Yeah, write
love to
anything.
hear.
Anything.
You don't even need to say names. Be, like, as vague as possible.
Yeah. Just
In
say
fact, I
anything.
encourage it.
We can talk about anything.
Anything. Well,
Anything.
thank you for listening to Talkitecture. Follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, And that's it.
Bye.
Bye.